since we've all kind of inadvertently over the past hour or so, we've kind of laid out our thoughts on Clemson heading into the 2024 season and where we think they stand from both an offensive and defensive standpoint, some of the weak points and some of the strengths that we have heading into the season, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Clemson over-under win total. We're not going to do a game-by-game prediction where we predict wins and losses from week to week. But Clemson's over-under win total, according to most of the sports betting books, is 8.5. That's the over-under win total. Pretty low for a Clemson Tiger team. So you guys, I'm going to throw it to you two. You guys can say you'd bet your money on the over, you'd bet your money on the under, and you can give your thoughts about a few games if you guys wish. But I'll go ahead and throw it to you guys. Over under win total 8.5. How do you guys feel about that as of right now, Friday, August 16th, heading into the 2024 season?
I think it's a comfortable over for me. I think this is a 9-win football team. I really do. And I'm not saying I'm predicting them to win only 9 games, but I think this team absolutely can win 9 games. I think reasonable improvement should be expected from Cade Klubnik, just being a second-year guy in the system. I do think you're in a better spot from a skill position standpoint than you've been in quite some time. I think there's a lot of reasons to think that, Cade, and as second-year starter, third year in the program, takes that next step. And I believe enough in what you have defensively that you can expect some consistency from week to week, even if, maybe there's you were a top, 5 to 10 defense last year. Maybe if you're a top 15 defense, but the offense or top 20 defense and the offense, takes a significant step forward, you're not almost dead last in explosive plays. You're not, extremely inefficient in the passing game. And Cade is not throwing the ball more than any other quarterback in the ACC. Yeah, I think you can win 9 games easily. So comfortable over for me. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, first off, if Cade Klubnik gets hurt, I take the under.
Yeah.
As of
we
today,
have to assume health there for sure.
As of today, he's healthy. I take the over. Here's why. For the first 5 games, Georgia, App State, you're off. NC State, you play the Nerds of Stanford, and then you're at Florida State. Okay, after that, Wake, Virginia, you're off. Louisville, VT, Pittsburgh, the Citadel, and the Chickens. Okay, we're top heavy with this schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, what's kind of funny is if you rank the playability legitimately, the top 3 teams that we're going to play throughout the season, the toughest 3 teams, we play them in the first 5 weeks. Georgia being the top one, NC State I would rank 3rd, of course, Florida State 2nd, but we play them in the first 5 weeks. If Clemson comes out the first 5 games and they've only lost 1 ball game, you can go ahead and knock that on up to 10 wins ACC appearance, obviously. But I agree with you 100%. 9 wins. 9 wins is extremely doable. 8.5, yeah, I definitely take over.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I agree with you guys. I'm definitely leaning towards the over. I think this team is at least a 9-win team. I think if they don't get to 9 wins, it's a very disappointing season, and something has gone wrong. I think this team should absolutely expect to win 9 games this season at a minimum. And, it is a very front-loaded schedule. But if you get out of those first 5 games and you have no more than 1 loss, I think you're set up, like you say, Brian, I think you're set up for probably an ACC appearance, possibly another ACC championship, and off to the playoffs once again, which, would be a season for Clemson that kind of changes the tide, right? And starts trending the program back in a direction where us as Clemson fans want to see it go. So
I throw this question out there. Do you definitely take the under if Cade Klubnik gets injured?
for now, for now, I don't want to say 100%. I'm not on the 100% because I can't completely discount the world where Christopher Vizina has made that second year jump. I have no reason to think that other than what's been said, but we haven't seen anything from him to go ahead and say that. But people in the chat talking about Trent Pierman. I mean, anyway, he's not who's going to be running out there if Cade gets hurt. So I mean, that's just the reality of it. So we have to operate under the assumption that Christopher Vizina is the guy that comes in. I would lean towards the under right now just because we haven't seen it, but there is a world because I do think Chris Vizina is not an untalented. I mean, he was a top 100 kid out of the state of Alabama. Like a lot of SEC schools wanted him. But again, what we've seen from him in limited time, from last year and in the spring game, hasn't given you a lot to be confident about. That's just the reality. But we're not there in practice every day, and so who knows? Maybe he has made that jump, and Dabo has been complimentary of him this fall. So, but for now, because we don't have any sample size, any positive, really sample size to go with, I would say under if Cade Klubnik gets hurt, and that would be very unfortunate.
Very, very unfortunate if that were to happen. But I think, I think we all took the over, assuming that Clemson stays healthy. Now that's a big assumption. If you look at Clemson's track record over the past 3 seasons, health has not been on our side for those 3 seasons, and that is just one of many issues that the program has run into over the past 3 seasons. So I think all of us kind of sit at the same point where we are cautiously optimistic about the offense, and we are pretty confident that the defense will end up being a really good unit in 2024. Am I correct by saying that?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, at least for me, I don't want to speak for Brian, but that's how I feel.
I believe in history, and until the pattern that relative history has given you, I think that it would be unwise to go against it. So our defensive coaches and our players has proven themselves worthy. Every time they were put into a position, they have proven themselves worthy of their role, worthy of their scholarship, and I think it would be wrong to discount them. On the other hand, we have a lot of questions. We now have 3 seasons of this, and we can talk about different OC. We can talk about this and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, we've had problems on the offense, and then you talked about injury just a second ago. I mean, good grief, I think they now have a special Clemson wing at Oconee Memorial, so we got to figure that out too. But I think that just using recent relevant history, we can try. I believe I have good solid hopes for our defense, and I'm just hoping that the offense can pull things together, and we have a kicker.
We did our kind of over-under prediction. We didn't do a game-by-game prediction, so I'm going to throw you kind of a record, BYOG or sell, for the last one. And I'm going to go the first 5 weeks of the season, okay? So I'll remind you Clemson's schedule for the first 5 weeks of the season. Georgia, week 1, at home against App State, at home against North Carolina State, at home against Sanford, and then at Florida State. Okay, so that's your first 5 weeks of the season for Clemson. BYOG or sell, Clemson will have 1 or less losses come week 6 of the college football season.
Man, I'm gonna say BYOG. I think. I do think I think you split Georgia and Florida State, whichever one that might be. I think if you do that, ideally, I think that's where you'll be. You'll be out of that with 1 loss or less. Right. And obviously, if you win both games, that'd be great. But sure. I'm not project. Obviously, the first game kind of is a big hurdle towards that. But
Yeah, young Pablo and it says 5-0 start. I don't know if I'll go that far, but
Ambitious. I like it though.
Yeah,
If
I
you
love
go
it. I
5
love
and
it.
5-0, we're having a really fun conversation about this
Yeah,
team.
keep the good vibes coming. Keep the put it out there in the world, and hopefully it happens. But I think I'll go. I think I'll go by on
Okay.
the less than one. And if we are there, come week 6, we're in a very good position for the Clemson Tigers, and if we can keep the momentum going, we're in for a really good season. And that's really the goal this year. The goal is to get back to the ACC championship game. I think that's goal number 1 for Clemson this year, and then hopefully you can win that, and then get a shot at the playoffs and see if you can make some noise. What it looks like after that, I think is a mute point for the season. But I think if you can get back to the ACC championship game, hopefully win that, and then see what happens after that. I think you're in good shape and trending in the right direction if you're the Tigers.
I'm with you.